So one of my favorite movies, and before it was a movie, was a book series, is the Chronicles of Narnia um, by C.S. Lewis. In there, there's one of my favorite quotes of all time, and it's when Lucy, one of the characters, asks Mr. Beaver. If you've never read the books or seen the movie, this sounds weird to you, but she asks Beaver, talking about Aslan, who's a lion, and they're describing as such, and she says, that would make me nervous. Is he safe? And Beaver responds by saying, safe? Who said anything about safe? Of course he's not safe, but he's good. And that just really stuck with me. One of my favorite quotes of all time, especially when you consider that C.S. Lewis created the Aslan character to represent Christ. Um, it also makes me think of what it means to be a man. Probably can't exclude women from this either, but being a man, I think from that perspective, right now, public health, public safety is one of our top social concerns. When you get on a plane, they'll give you the pre-flight spiel and they'll say, your safety is our number one priority. Well, that's really not true at all. If safety really was the top priority, they would not strap you into a steel tube going 580 miles per hour at 35,000 feet. Their main objective, their main priority is getting you from A to B, your desired destination, and they would like to do it as safely as possible. I like to watch NASCAR as well, and they always talk about safety first, safety first. Well, if safety first was the real goal there, then they would not drive these cars 200 miles per hour on a mile and a half oval, 6 inches from one another, bumping into one another. They just wouldn't do it because safety is not first. In that, it's the thrill of the win and the entertainment and all of those kind of things are the first priority, and they'd like to do it as safely as possible. But at some point in our growth, we have to venture away from safety. Um, and I'm not talking about being reckless. There's a difference between what I'm talking about and being reckless. We have to risk something. As a dad, my primary objective is for my kids to grow into mature, functioning adults. By the time they leave home, they have had enough experience and all of these things necessary, and input and practice necessary to become functioning adults on their own, to do everything that they need to do on their own. And when they're little kids, we do everything we can to provide as safe as environment as possible. And I'd like to keep them safe in this whole process of maturity, but I realize that their growth requires my absence at times. That's hard to do. But as a man, if I played it safe all the time, then I would never get ahead in business. I'd never have any fun either. And I'm not talking about, again, being reckless, but willing to take risk for the sake of growth and for the sake of living. The image of a Christian man, I think, seems to have fallen into this trap of nice and safe. And if that's all there is, if that's the only expectation of being nice and safe, keeping my lawn, really good and manicured and stuff, and I am trying to do that right now, but the lawn's not cooperating. But if that's it, then I don't want any part of that. But thankfully, playing it safe is not a biblical characteristic. I mean, you look at the people in the Bible. It wasn't safe to talk about Jesus. It wasn't safe to do what they did. So safety is not a biblical characteristic, but goodness is. Aslan, is he safe? No, but he's good. So as you tackle life today, what should your priority be? Safe? Who said anything about safe? You and I, we're not safe, but we're good.